Welcome back to the official podcast of Volunteering Queensland. Today, you're going to meet a family who volunteers together. Have you heard or do you remember the old adage, families who volunteer together create more families who volunteer together? No? Me neither. But it does seem to be a central theme of many of our episodes here on My Queensland Volunteer Story. So we might coin the phrase ourselves. Today, we're going to Rocky to meet a family who absolutely epitomise the sentiment. We're going to meet Sue and her niece Lucy, and they'll be our main characters today. But listen out for special appearances by Sue's sister, who is also Lucy's mum, Louise, and Lucy's granddad, who just turned 88, and his name's Don. Together, they are the Neaton family, and they dedicate a lot of their time to the CapRescue helicopter rescue service. So let's go there first, to CapRescue, and meet their operations manager, Kirsty.
My name's Kirsty Wooler. I'm the operations manager at RACQ CapRescue. We're a rescue helicopter service that operates up in Central Queensland. So we service a lot of rural and remote communities, providing critical life-saving rescue and care to the people within that area. So we have a group of 4 individuals that volunteer as a family. They've been volunteering for a really long time. Originally, Don Neaton signed up with us. I think his first role was a sausage sizzle, and he was babysitting his granddaughter Lucy. So he's like, I have to bring Lucy along. So Lucy jumped in there and she started, bossing everybody around as a little tot. And everybody was really good about that. I mean, this cute little kid who's not going to be happy about her being there. So Lucy just started coming along with Don, and then sort of her mum Lou or Aunt Sue would pop in to see what Don and Lucy were up to, because they were sort of chatting at home about what a great time they had, and they're like, we want to get in on this too. So there's been many events where we've had all 4 of them volunteer together as a family, which is really lovely. We put a lot of value on our volunteers, everybody within the organisation, so CapRescue as the fundraising not-for-profit body, but also the crews, the doctors and the pilot. Everybody understands the value they provide to the organisation in helping us fundraise and reaching the community. They see them out there raising money. They recognise that if somebody in their family has been rescued, volunteers have contributed in some way, we've contributed, the air crews contributed. We're from a rural sort of area. The community spirit here is very strong, which also has helped us recruit volunteers that we have. They're really passionate, dedicated, love what they do, love living in Central Queensland. That sort of gives them that extra boost and that extra passion to keep doing what they're doing.
My name's Lucy Neaton. I'm 17 years old. I've just graduated year 12. I've completed my Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award, and I'm 5 subjects into my nursing degree.
I'm Sue Neaton. I'm Lucy's aunt, 54 and proud of it. I've been volunteering most of my life. I'm admin for the mental health community services teams in Rockhampton. So I work with some truly amazing clinicians who do a really, really tough job. So I like to think I'm sort of their work mother who tries to make things easier for them when they're back in the office. I have been volunteering for CapRescue, must be coming up to 8 years. I started officially volunteering for another organisation back in 1989, so a long time.
So I started volunteering a little bit before Auntie Sue. I kind of dragged her along to CapRescue. I've been volunteering for about 9 years there, but overall I started when I was 3. My mum has always sort of done volunteering stuff. She was a police officer in her previous career, so she did Adopt a Cop for the school.
Neighbourhood Watch. She did Crop a Cop. We actually volunteered for the local footy club.
I haven't been doing much lately, but, I fold pamphlets. And Dad lays on his bed too for hours on end folding RACQ chopper pamphlets and puts them in envelopes and all that sort of stuff as well. They're just special people, so... Yeah, like Lucy's maturity, I think, how she's growing, so much confidence and pride in what she does, and she helps other volunteers. And Susie's just wonderful speaker at presentations and that. And Dad's just great at cooking snags and making sandwiches, and they even made a barbecue box up for him at the rescue chopper. That's his barbecue box. It's got, the spatulas and tongs and all that in.
I forget what's written on it. I think it's Don's barbecue box. I think it is something like that.
Don's barbecue box.
I've been volunteering all my life pretty well. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of them all, really. Yeah, we go out of our way a bit to help everyone. We've always been that way.
So Lou's been volunteering overall probably since she was about 20, and she's 57 now. But again, she would have been like me with mum and dad, doing the little things, whatever a kid could do. But we were certainly not given the amount of responsibility that Lucy's had the opportunity to have. Thankfully, society's attitude is different now. And we didn't have the confidence that Lucy had at all. But the volunteering has definitely helped us. And again, it's helped ground us and put life in perspective.
So now you've met the Neaton family. What do you think? I couldn't wait to hear more about them and the organisation they volunteer for, CapRescue. It can't be cheap to keep a rescue chopper service going, so I asked Kirsty about their costs and how much they rely on their volunteers to fundraise. I was blown away by her response.
Our operating costs for this current financial year, ending June, are sort of tracking towards just over $12 million for the year. We do get approximately 60% is government funded. So ourselves, we just have a staff of 5, along with our volunteers, raise that shortfall. So our volunteers are helping us to raise, a good $4.6 million every year. So it's daunting when you say it in those numbers, but we get there every year. Our community is incredibly supportive, whether it's through volunteering, donating, or supporting our events. Everybody recognises that it's such a vital service. Last year, we rescued 500 people, so we've literally saved 500 lives in a year. And when you're out in the community, guaranteed there'll be somebody in the conversation that's had somebody they know rescued by CapRescue. So it's an easy sell.
We cover Central Queensland, so over 300,000 square kilometres. We go out to Alpha, as far out to sea as fuel will carry us, up to St Lawrence and down to 1770. And we do everything from inter-hospital transfers, search and rescues, attending vehicle or workplace incidents. So we can go out and do a multitude of tasks, and we're averaging about 1.5 tasks a day, which doesn't sound a lot, but when you look at the number of hours and the cost involved and the lives it is impacting, then that's a lot. We're pretty vast. We've got only a couple of larger towns, as in Rockhampton's a central town. Then we've got a lot of smaller communities. We've got mine sites, we've got rural properties, and we've got a lot of roads. We've also got a lot of people that live in the area that like to go fishing, like to go hiking up Blacktown Tablelands, so they get lost. Fishermen go overboard. Before the helicopter service, we had RFDS, which was great, but they couldn't do that search and rescue. They couldn't winch somebody off a ship or winch somebody off a mountain. And back in those days, people perished. Now, if you're lost or if you're injured or you think that there's no hope and you hear those chopper blades come in, people will hold on that little bit longer. So it's providing a gap, that massive gap that was in that service for rural people. So that's what we do.
We're constantly hearing stories from country people who come up to us and say, I didn't think I would have made it. I remember I was at a open day and I had this gentleman come up to me and say, I didn't think I was going to make it. Your crew literally saved me. Now, 30 years earlier, he had a family member who had a similar accident to him and got rolled on by a horse. That person did not survive because they didn't make it to hospital in time. But he was lucky enough to be rescued by our crew and lived to tell the story. So it's people like that, people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to access the healthcare in the time they needed, who we are helping.
Another story was of a young child who was very, very sick on a property. The parents had driven an hour or longer to get them to the hospital. And it was just a very small infant. And the doctor, obviously being small hospital, they didn't have all the facilities they needed, the care they needed. So they called in the chopper to transport because the child wouldn't have made it by road. There's those types of things as well. So even if the rural and remote people can get to a medical facility or can get QAS on the ground there, to be able to get them to better facilities, to get them to a bigger hospital And there are times where our crew have picked up somebody from the road, literally from the road. Rockhampton wasn't big enough, or they didn't have what we needed, so they've flown them straight to Brisbane. Yeah, when you think of over 300,000 square kilometres, that's bigger than some countries in Europe.
The volunteers are involved in a couple of areas across our business. So primarily they help with our fundraising events. So we do colour runs in a couple of areas around the region. We sell raffle tickets, those sorts of things. We also do a couple of community open days where we take the helicopter out into the community and invite other emergency services along, just to give the community a chance to connect with us and the crew and see the helicopter. We have some older volunteers where they can't really get out to our events, but we get them to stuff our newsletters, so we take those to them in their home and then collect them when they're done, just so that they can still contribute. If somebody wants to contribute and has passion there, we always find a way of involving them in something that we do. You can't ever really have a bad day when you know you're doing something so great.
I love just about every event. I would probably say our colour runs, whether it be Rockhampton or Gladstone. If we go to Gladstone, Luce and I will normally go down. We'll park up at the gardens where the colour run's going to be on the Sunday. So we'll get there Saturday afternoon. People who have pre-registered, they can come and collect their colour bags or register last minute, that sort of thing. And then we're back out at the park at 4 a.m. We'll be setting up. I think the four of us have pretty much got it down pat. The rest of the volunteers start arriving around 5. Lucy's normally on the rego tent. I'm normally on the microphone unless she takes it off me the last couple of events. And we MC it, we get them G'd up. And then you see these people who are all pristine white, looking a little bit bleary-eyed, whatever, for the 6:30 run. And then, we let them go. They come back, they're coloured, or sometimes all you see are their white teeth. But they're just absolutely amazing. And then we're packed up and gone by 9:30, home by lunchtime. We've still got the whole day to do what we want to do, but in the meantime, we've helped raise several $1,000s. And my second favourite would have to be probably the speeches and the check presentations, where I get to say personal thanks to other organisations who have raised money and who have thought enough of us to willingly hand over that money to us. They've selected CapRescue as their charity of choice, and they have, asked if somebody could come along, say a few words, and I actually get to thank them for their time, their interest, their effort, because they're helping us. And it's nothing out of my day to go and spend an hour at a function like that, or a couple of times I've been out to Springshaw for check presentations. And as I said, I was a guest speaker out there. So it was a 15-minute speech and we walked away with like $8,500. To me, it's not giving up a weekend. To me, it's actually fulfilling my life and allowing me to do something that I love, and that is supporting the organisation and getting to say thank you to complete strangers who I'll probably never meet again. But to hear their stories and just to be a small part of that, it's pretty special.
At the start of this episode, I mentioned a new adage we're coining here at My Queensland Volunteer Story. Families who volunteer together create more families who volunteer together. And boy, do they make an impact. But just how did little Lucy get involved at just 2 or 3 years old? You won't believe just how far she's come.
Growing up, my mum and dad, being in a small country community, they volunteered at different things. So I grew up knowing that's what you did. And then when Luce was younger, her mum was unwell or her mum would be working and I'd be going off to do something and babysitting. And I'd go, well, Lucy, you're coming with me. This is just what you do. Lucy was one of those kids who needed to help. If the big people were doing it, she had to do it. I think the fact that they identified that within her and that they encouraged her and welcomed her with open arms. And, there was never any question about she can't do it because she's young. She was, 12 or 13 and she was training new volunteers. The staff were actually encouraging, saying,
It's amazing.
Lucy knows how to set this up. Lucy knows how to do blah, blah, blah. She's been to several, just follow and learn. Not all older people like to do that. Not all older people believe that young teenagers or young kids have a better knowledge. But Lucy did have, and the staff respected, encouraged, supported her. And I think that's what has helped her become the young adult that she is and the community-focused person that she is, because she could see what the grown-ups were doing. She wanted to do it, and they gave her the opportunity to prove herself. And
That's
she has
awesome.
multiple times.
Yeah, when I was younger, like right before I started volunteering, I was not able to speak to people. I was terrified of having to talk to anyone. Like I would stand behind Auntie Sue's skirt, hide behind mum's legs. I just couldn't put myself in that situation. And I can even acknowledge the fact that as I volunteered more, they pushed me within my limits and were like, no, you can do it. Like they were so supportive, and now I can pretty much talk to anyone. They probably sometimes wish I stopped. But
Yeah, she's outgoing, you know. She has a lot of fun while she's doing it. Yeah, she's switched on with the registrations and all that, you know.
She MCs colour runs. She writes the most amazing speeches.
no, but I think
It's
what
amazing.
really got Auntie Sue's ego is last time the mayor did his little spiel at our colour run and gave the microphone back to me.
And I didn't get it again. We've just always been really proud of being part of it, you know. And we're only tiny part of it. But I remember Lucy was probably about 9 years old, and she'd been volunteering for about a year by then, just, you know, helping out at barbecues, going along with Poppy. Where we live, we're on an acre, and the helicopter went over coming back from Great Keppel. And Lucy raced out to the backyard as a little kid, and she's standing there with her hand up, following this helicopter with her hand. And we've sort of come out, my sister and I have come out and gone, what are you doing, Bub? What's going on? And we had been at an event the day before, and she goes, I helped keep it up there. And from a little, 8, 9-year-old to understand that selling raffle tickets and selling sausages at a sausage sizzle was able to keep a helicopter in the air to make a difference, that has stuck with us all these years. And it just reinforces that tiny little piece, that tiny little cog that we are in that big wheel.
Yeah, I remember the first event I ever did. I can remember the exact time, how much everything was, and it was a charity bike ride, and I was helping make bacon and egg muffins. And I just remember standing there and looking around and thinking, wow, I'm part of something bigger. Like, I am only a small part, but I'm helping everybody in this bigger picture. And it kind of felt like the first time I was like, I've done something that's worthwhile. It's something bigger than myself, and it may only be a bacon and egg muffin, but it felt like it was it. I'd made it in life.
It's not just a bacon and egg muffin though, is it?
No, it's not just about the little things. It's every dollar is working towards something bigger. And I guess I always think about it like when we're raising money after an event, I'll be like, that's new night vision goggles. That's a new helmet. That's some more fuel to keep that helicopter going.
Yeah.
It's just the small things, and it feels like the best feeling once we've done it. I've always just sort of made it my mission to just try and, like, there's some people where I'll just be like, oh, $5, I thought you said 50. And, like, I'll just keep going. Like, I remember at the ball we were doing a balloon pop raffle, and this guy came over and wanted 3 balloons, and I was like, 3? I thought you said 5. I ended up getting him up to 8 balloons at $25 each, and I walked around like I had hit the jackpot, and I just worked my way up, and it's so much fun. Like, it's things you never thought you'd be able to achieve, even if it is just that. It's like, wow.
But he did win the top prize.
He did win the top prize.
See? It pays off in the end. You did him a favour.
No, I think he
That's
just
what I told him.
he just bought him to shut her up.
With incredible volunteers and fundraisers like Lucy, Sue, Don and Lou, CapRescue is in good shape to be able to continue to save lives. But in October 2023, the CapRescue team nearly lost one of their own when their head office was severely damaged by an out-of-control motorist.
So basically, the person has driven off the road, but they've driven up over the concrete and through the front office. So it's actually smashed through the front doors, the vehicle, all the way through the office and into the walkway where the crew walk sometimes and where we walk on weekends to do stuff if we're picking stuff up. I remember seeing it on Facebook, trusty community Facebook page, and they didn't say exactly where it was, but I knew those doors, and my heart dropped. Like, I've never felt so sick, and it's heartless. There's people out there that may not have been able to be saved, because if there was staff in that office, Kirsty, one of our volunteer coordinators, she sits right in that office, and if it wasn't a public holiday, we may not have her with us.
We wouldn't have her.
It went straight through. And she's doing her job, trying to keep that helicopter in the air, just like every one of us. And for someone to just want to destroy that when we're trying to save other people, and it's not just saving people, like they helped rescue a cow out of a tree. They can water bomb if there's a fire. Like, we have those abilities. It's not just people, it's more than people. And it was the worst feeling.
Yeah. All of us, our hearts saying, we were automatically on the phone, is everybody okay? Being a public holiday, we knew, thankfully, the staffies probably weren't there, but we didn't know how much damage it had done to the building. Was there crew upstairs because, that's where their flat is, that's where their overnighters are?
When we got ram raided at the end of last year, it was obviously quite a shock to us. But I don't think, nobody would expect to come to work and see the front of their building wiped out and their office gone. We've had some businesses jump on board and sort of said, if anything's not covered by insurance or if there's a shortfall, let us know how we can help, and we're happy to go rally some other support for you.
We've known some of these people for so long. Like, I've known some of them for more than half of my life. And they're not just volunteers that we work with. They're not just staff. It's like they're our family. Like, I look forward to seeing them. I remember when I got my license, one of the first things I did was drive to the hangar and walk in and be like, look at me, guys. And they were so excited for me. And it's just, I think people think about the time when it comes to volunteering, but they don't think about what they could also get from it. Because it's more than just putting in time and looking and going, wow, I kept that helicopter in the air. Because there's people there that I could call them right now and ask them for anything, and they'd give me the time of day. And it's just so supportive, and I really cherish that.
Such a close call for CapRescue and their amazing staff, volunteers and community. But it's nothing they couldn't overcome together. At Volunteering Queensland, we know how important it is for organisations to create that sense of togetherness, and how important it is for them to take care of their volunteers. It sounds to me like CapRescue is doing an amazing job.
Our volunteers give so much to us that we're also respectful of the time they give us, and if there's anything that we can do to help them in their other extracurricular activities or their workplace or gaining employment, then we'll always support them where we can.
Lucy's done her Duke of Edinburgh, bronze, silver and gold, and part of that is volunteer hours. But at each level, she's had to step up responsibility, and CapRescue, drop of a hat. Okay, Luce, we need you to do such and such. They signed off on it. They recommended her. They have supported her in endeavours outside of CapRescue. Everybody's got a talent. Everybody's got something to offer, their own unique way. And it's important as a volunteer that you recognise your gifts and you recognise what you can do or what you want to learn, because CapRescue are very good at giving people the opportunity to learn. As a communicator, I've offered to teach or mentor anybody that wants to go to check presentations. Lucy's been doing it for years. She talks people through it. She's trained new volunteers on registration tents and stuff like that. And CapRescue really do give you the opportunity to tap into what you've got and to learn and to grow as a person. I mean, 100% with Lucy, there's the evidence right there.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And I think it's very prominent in our family because we are very different people. Sue, she can talk underwater, and they really tap into that and they accept it and encourage her to use her skills, even if they do sometimes regret it. But like Pop, he wouldn't be confident enough to do a check presentation. So they tap into his skill of cooking the best barbecue in the world, and that brings people back. And they've encouraged him to the point that even at his age, a couple of weeks ago, he did a check presentation with me. And it's just like growing. Like even at 88 years old, he is still learning and growing. And they're so encouraging that like he's come leaps and bounds. Like even since when I was little, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he has.
It's really been amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I volunteered for the Nebo Rodeo. I volunteered for the Lions Club at the rodeo, and I've been volunteering pretty well all my life, I suppose, because I like helping people and I get a kick out of it sometimes because you get a fairly good laugh sometimes with people, especially around the colour run in Rocky and Gladstone and Emerald. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with the people when I'm on the track sort of business, marshalling. Some of the ladies on the colour run are pretty special. They want to throw powder on your clean clothes and give you a hug and kiss you. And I said, it's going to cost you $50 if you colour me shirt. We have a ton of fun. Yeah, that's the best part of volunteering, having fun.
People don't understand how much volunteering helps because it's something that he may not be able to run or join some groups, but volunteering, it's his own family. And you can tell the day that he's going to be volunteering because he is up and ready at 4 a.m, sitting in his chair waiting, going, are you ready yet? Or he'll sit in the car honking the horn. And it's like, we're not going for 2 hours, but you can just tell because it's like our little family and he's making a difference. And it's just, you can tell. He's got the biggest, cheesiest grin going, guess what I just did?
And he's made some beautiful friends out of it. You know, like we only see them at certain events, but he looks forward to seeing them. And if they're not there, why not? There's a volunteer who goes down to with Dad and Lucy to the country music afternoon teas. She can't drive, so Dad and Lucy now pick her up and drop her home. And you know, it's those little things that you look forward to because we're not just giving to the organisation, but we're giving to our community. And our other volunteers are our community. They're our volunteer family. Because if we help them, then they can help others. You know, it's just that ripple effect.
Because I've dragged some of my friends to volunteer events before when we've been short. I've been like, come on, you'll love it. What do you mean? You're not busy. But yeah, I can really see it when they come. Initially, they're a bit standoffish, a bit not sure where they fit. But by the end of the event, they're telling me what to do. And it's just amazing because in that short amount of time, you can see how much they've changed and got more confident in themselves. And even at school events, they'll be like, oh, you know what we did at CapRescue? I'm just going to do the same. And it's like, wow, you did learn something. It's just so cool to see. And it's like also the influence of them wanting to make a difference as well, because I don't shut up about how much I've loved my weekends doing CapRescue stuff. Sometimes we'll have a check presentation on the Friday night and then not much else, or sometimes we can have colour runs on the Sunday morning where we get up really early, then we go home and we're packing newsletters in the afternoon watching TV together. But my favourite thing is my pop and I go down to Yeppoon and we go and we pick up Fran and then we take her to the afternoon tea and we make our sandwiches. And it's at the town hall in Yeppoon. It's a country music event where local musicians come and they just sing and play guitar, do their music thing. And we have people come, they pay $10 to get in and they get 2 triangle sandwiches and a piece of cake and then tea and coffee. So we make the sandwiches, we cut the cakes and make their plates up for them. And then we get their tickets and they get their food, and then we might even have a little bit of a dance with them. And it's just that regular interaction with people, because there's probably 80 people every weekend. We're making 80 plates of food, but I know about all their grandkids. And it's just like the the interaction with them, because they look forward to seeing us, we look forward to seeing them, and they're always popping in going, guess what I did? And it's just amazing because it's people I'd never usually hang out with. But now I have 80 grandparents and it's the best. I recently taught them all the Macarena. It's just so much fun.
She's got a driver's license now, so she drives me and we have fun down there as well.
Yeah, I always drive us to Yeppoon because Pop doesn't really, I don't think he likes driving on the highway as much anymore, but I love it because I'm like keen as a bean to get there. It's so much fun just driving everyone to all of our events.
At events, especially the colour runs, where especially there is Dad, Lucy and myself, you know, we've got 70-year age gap. People come up and go, isn't that cool? Like there's 3 generations at the same event. You've all got your own jobs, but you're all there together.
It's also really important for me because it gets Pop out of the house and it gives me that bonding time with him. There's so many things I didn't know about him until I started volunteering with him. Like I knew he could cook a good barbecue, but it's just amazing. I'm like, wow, you should cook more at home. And it's just those little bonding moments because I'm 17, he's turning 88. Like there's not so many things, like we couldn't do anything active, sort of, like it's just something that we can do together that we both have an interest in, that we're making a difference, and it's a bonding moment for us and it gives us something to talk about and
look forward to. And
I'm just so grateful that I have that, to be able to spend time with him and for him to want to also do the same things that I want to do.
Lucy, she's a bit of a card. Good little worker at the barbecues and at the colour runs. He's in the tent doing the registrations and getting everyone organised, and yeah, she's pretty cool at that. She's a real asset to the helicopter mob.
It has, in a way, brought us closer together. It gives us that shared purpose, that shared reason to leave the house. I mean, I'm a homebody. I would be very happy to go home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and then, you know, on a Friday afternoon not go anywhere. But we encourage each other, even if one of us doesn't really feel up to going out, you know, but we've promised we're going to do something. We've got the others there to motivate us or to give us that boot to say, yep, it's time to go. You know, we said we were going to do it, and you always feel better having done it. Always come back on a high. Just being able to enjoy each other's company and each other's time. Not many families take that opportunity, and CapRescue's given us that.
And also, we could have the biggest argument at home, but the second we get in that car to go to that event, we are best friends again. And it's just, it levels out our family so much because we can't fight when we have to work together. Like, the event won't run if Sue's grumpy at Pop. It's that mediating factor in our family. Like, it just calms everybody down. It's like, oh, well, I hated you 10 seconds ago, but hey, bestie. It's amazing, and it regulates us and keeps us all in check.
Well, I'm pretty proud of them because it's raising money for the helicopter, keep helping everyone, and yeah, it's the way that we've been brought up, I think. Yeah, they're a big asset, and I'm pretty proud of them.
I think so. I think people become very busy, and they become, not through any real fault of their own, but I think they become self-centric. I have found that by doing this, it puts everything in perspective. My worries, my stresses in life, everything becomes null and void when you hear stories. You know, our second ever rescue was a gentleman who'd been bitten by a snake down Mount Larkin Way. Again, came up to me at an open day. He said, look, I haven't got much to give, but they saved my life. He said, so every open day I want to come, and even though that's not the crew that saved me, I need to touch that helicopter. I need to let the crew know that the people that went before them, they saved my life. And he said, I need them to know that I'm supporting them, even if it's just morally. I can't do it financially, but, you know, I'm singing their praises and letting everybody know. And it's those sorts of stories that it just tears at your heartstrings. And it just puts whatever's going on in my life and in my world so back in perspective, that it's only by the grace of God that we haven't needed them. You know, we do a lot of road travelling. When I was working out of the mines and that, I was on that road every week. And it's only by the grace of God that I didn't need them.
My family, with their helpful, giving nature, has really inspired me to be like that, because ever since I was little, I remember Pop and Auntie Sue going to an event and I would be like, I want to be like that. Like, you know, when you look at something and you've like been inspired and you just, all you want to do when you grow up is be like them. And it's just really made me want to be a better person and help people. And don't cry, but yeah.
I don't hear nice words that often. She is a teenager.
I mean, well, even in my schoolwork, I notice a difference because it's just things I would have never thought about, that I have conversations with people and I'm constantly learning. I just sometimes would go to school and be like, I already know this. Like, I got taught this, and it's just, I could never learn these sorts of things in the classroom. It's just so much better.
We appreciate the opportunity to talk about CapRescue and what the service does and what it gives to us. And I hope other people can understand that everybody has that opportunity. Well, whether it be with CapRescue or wherever they find their passion, wherever they find
Their niche.
And sometimes you've got to try 3 or 4 different groups to find where you fit. But I hope everybody out there understands the importance and the high you can get from it.
A huge thank you to Sue, Lucy, Louise, Don, Kirsty and all the team from CapRescue. As always, head straight to the Volunteer Queensland website for more information about volunteering. If you've loved listening today and want to help us reach a larger audience, please subscribe or follow our podcast. And if you want to help even more, please leave us a review.